To learn more about the Alabama Education Lab and receive notifications about stories and events, sign up for its newsletter, EdChat. Education professors at the University of Alabama say proposed legislation and resolutions that target critical race theory would hurt their ability to train good future teachers. The college's Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee sent a letter this week asking higher education officials to join an effort to resist recent efforts in Montgomery to limit how schools approach issues of bias and racism. The committee calls critical race theory a useful lens that helps educators understand the importance of diversity and systems that leave behind minority students and families. I would say it's really important to establish for everyone that UA professors and Alabama K-12 educators are not saying, nor do they think, that anyone is inherently racist, said Sarah McDaniel, a professor who is chair of the committee. That is not being taught. That is not being discussed. That is not a part of anyone that I know's value system or beliefs. Teachers and professors have a moral obligation to talk about slavery, racism, segregation and other painful parts of the country's history without fear of repercussions, and also need to be able to participate in training that helps them treat all students fairly and equally, the committee wrote. Read more. What is critical race theory? Is it taught in Alabama schools? Proposed legislation and policy that takes aim at critical race theory, an academic concept not taught in any K-12 school but that might impact teacher education and professional development programs, might hamper those efforts, they say. State Representative Chris Pringle has pre-filed a bill that would ban schools and universities from teaching critical race theory. The committee argued that restrictions on college professors would harm academic freedom and, further holding back our state, students, families and educators by denying key training in concepts that help teachers understand key research, data and best practices. The letter argues that, in order for students to become successful educators to all children, the college needs the autonomy to help students see systems, practices and policies that do not support equitable education for all students. Our country has a long legacy built on the enslavement of human beings, and this has had repercussions throughout our history, the letter states. All of this has resulted in the wealth and achievement gaps that educators, in many ways, are expected to help solve. McDaniel said the committee felt an obligation to comment on the topic springing up in states around the country. More than 20 states have passed or tried to enact policies that limit teachers' ability to discuss issues of racism or bias. McDaniel says court is often made out to be a boogeyman in the culture war taking place in schools.